Good morning. It's jubilation here at the Ranch Hotel in Polokwane, where the results or the matric results of the class of 2022 in Limpopo is about to be released. We know Basic Education Minister Enje Motshekga last night released the national report results, and we learned that Limpopo achieved 72.1%, which was actually an improvement when compared to the class of 2021. This 72% is actually an increase that Limpopo last saw in 2019 when it reached like the 70% and upwards trajectory. So it's a welcome increase here at the Ranch Hotel. Inside the hall, a program has just started where the MEC of Education here in Limpopo, Ms. Mabongolere Ramakanya, is expected to hand over the official results, where we'll know the best performing learners in the province, best performing schools, as well as best performing circuits and regions in the province. But to speak more about what we can expect from this program, we're joined by the spokesperson of the Limpopo government, Mr. Ndabe Ramakwela. Ramakwela, thank you so much for speaking to us, and congratulations. We haven't seen this 70% since 2019. What is the provincial government's reaction?
Thank you, and good morning, Pimani. Our province is excited by the outcomes that we have received. The interventions that the Premier of Limpopo, Mr. Stanley Chupuma Tabata, had directed the department to work on seems to have paid off quite well. We held an education in Daba early last year after the results of 2021 didn't look all pleasing. And from what we have seen today and this week, we are quite encouraged, but 72.1% is a good outcome, and we are hoping that, as we have said in our Limpopo development plan, that we will want to reach an 80% pass mark from the matric. And this is part of things that we are excited about. We are excited as well about the improvements of districts that previously were far lower than 30%. We see them now above 65%. When we look at districts like Skukuni, South, East, as well as some districts in Pimani, there's been a concentrated improvement in those particular areas. And we also see now a newer district coming up quite well in the name of Mokalakwena, who have shown improvement, that they've also registered their presence within the national top 100. That's one of the things that when we look at as a province, we are proud of, that the 72% is something worth celebrating, and that going forward we should then be able to maintain, go above the 72.1% that we're talking about. Program today here, we have the Premier of the province in the hall, together with the MEC, the Provincial Executive Council is here to also do the support. You would have seen last week, all the MECs went into school, so the program is no longer just a program by the MEC for education, is that the Executive Council has taken interest how the schools are performing, not just at matric level, but also to grades lower than grade 12, to make sure that we offer them available assistance so they are able to improve.
Ramakwela, talking about this intervention plan, we've seen specifically the MECs for both education, the one who just left, Ms. Bushielo, and the current MEC, focused mostly on poor performing districts, and you mentioned they seem to be doing well. But some are criticizing, saying, looking at Bembe, it always featured in the national results. It also featured here. This year, we're not seeing many of their learners. Some would say it appears as the poor performing ones are picking up, the better performing ones seem to be going down. Is there an intervention strategy to ensure parity between these two?
Well, that assertion is not quite correct, because as we speak now, the top 3 performing schools are from Bembe. So it might be that maybe at the district level we don't have that overall performance, but Bembe hasn't declined in their performance. They are doing quite well, and that's why Tengwe and Biri are amongst the top 3, together with Dendron, performing schools. The announcement will be made today here. We'll be seeing that. So there is parity, but we indeed have taken interest in performing schools, and we haven't neglected those that have done well in the past. There's a consistency that you are able to see throughout from the schools in Capricorn. There are districts that have performed within Capricorn district municipality. There are circuits that have performed very well as well, that they've done the previous year. It's just that this year others who were lower that have come up a lot better, and that the parity is seen in the overall increase. The 5.3% is a commendable one across the province, and I don't see any neglect happening in any of the districts that we have now.
Thank you so much, Ramakwela. That's the spokesperson of the Limpopo provincial government, Mr. Ndabe Ramakwela, telling us that some of the schools that seem to have performed well are the ones that year after year have been honored, specifically by the Minister of Basic Education, Tengwe and Bilwi. We'll be going inside where the MEC will be delivering a speech where we will learn who are the best performing learners, who are the best performing schools, which districts have done well. But as we've heard from Mr. Ramakwela, it seems Vembe yet again has done well, but also regions, districts that were not doing well in Sikukune, in Capricorn, and in the Waterberg region seem to also have picked up their socks and have performed well. We saw Mukhalakwe, as Mr. Ramakwela was saying, was honored last night by Basic Education Minister, being mentioned as part of the best performing districts in the country. So we'll be monitoring this story. We'll also be speaking to some of the best performing learners. One of the learners that we always keep an eye on is learners from the Rivoni School for the Blind, which will always feature in these statistics. We saw some of them last night being honored by the minister as well. If this is despite the infrastructure challenges that are happening at that school, we do know the department is currently building new infrastructure, which the school hopes to move into soon. But currently they are learning in dilapidated classrooms and they're staying in hostels that are dilapidated. So we'll be speaking to some of these learners, but also speaking to other stakeholders. We've seen opposition parties here, we've seen teacher unions, but we've also seen representatives of learners here. We'll be speaking to them, just getting their reactions. It is indeed a 5.3% increase for Limpopo, and this is an increase that was last seen in 2019. And stakeholders were saying there needs to be a change in the political leadership, and we did see that political change last year, and right now we got a 5.3% increase. It's back to you in studio. We'll be monitoring this.